Hang in there, Packers fans. Oh, I got to go back and fix it. Packers win. Packers win big, man. I got to do a share in a second, but I got hung up on my share. I forgot to share my computer sound. Let's do this thing right. Packers victory.
Stop.
All right, gets worse after that. So almost there you go. Too many windows open. But much like the Packers offensive line, I processed information quickly and corrected the situation. Packers win. Packers win. Nico and his 99% guarantee holds true. Now, I did talk to him when it was 16-3, and he said, "Oh, my prediction's looking pretty good. My score prediction 31-3." And I was like, "You really think the Rams are only going to score 3 points the whole rest of the game?" That wasn't quite right, but the win was right, and that's all that matters. All right, we got another note from our all the way in Slovakia. Balaz says we got to introduce people to anyone that's new to the show. So my name is Jason. I'm Hafeman Bro number 2. Ben is Hafeman Bro number 1, even though he doesn't have it on his name. Eric's iPad is otherwise known as Rick. And Heather Storley Chrisman also goes by Bruce on occasion. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, so we got all that down. If anyone else comes in the party, we'll let you know who they are too, just in case. Because, if you're new to this, which we had a couple new people recently, so we got to let them know. All right. Give some thoughts. Ben had some interesting things after the game that he wanted to talk about, but we're going to skip Ben. We're going to go right to Bruce. Bruce, what did you think? What did you like?
I thought the offense was well. First of all, the offensive line was wonderful. I mean, they were tough, physical. They punched him in the mouth. They won the line of scrimmage pretty much all night long. So you got to give props to them, no doubt about it. Running the football. I mean, Aaron Jones is Aaron. Jonesy was Jonesy, as he normally is. Um, I thought Williams actually had a really good night. He played really well. I think that might have been one of his best games that I've seen him play. So very, very good there. Adams played consistent. Obviously, he was being doubled at times, and Ramsey was on him, but I think he played well as well. And then there was a few drops in there, but overall, I think the offense was very consistent. Um, Overall, I know you're a little mad at me, Jason, for ripping on Rodgers a little bit earlier, but that's okay. I have high standards for him. So,
That's
but
fine.
hey, overall, I think the offense played really well, and the defense obviously did enough to win the game, and they stepped up in certain situations. So it was a good win.
Yeah, I think that was it. I mean, I was just trying to make the point that although Aaron Rodgers wasn't making pinpoint perfect passes, they were catchable throws and giving his guys a chance and making good decisions and all that stuff. And that's what you need from your quarterback. And he made some incredible adjustments that Ben wanted to talk about too. And Rick, how about that touchdown run, huh? Huh? Pretty sweet.
Not bad for an old guy.
I think if you or I tried to do that, we probably would have pulled something or tore something or who knows what.
I can guarantee that.
I don't know where Ben.
No, I thought it's what I was hoping to see is that he'd have enough mobility to buy some time. The Rams' defensive line, surprisingly, it wasn't Donald that was having the impact. They had a lot of guys who were at least early in the game making kind of collapsing in the pocket, getting some pressure on. But overall, Rodgers did a good job of moving around, at least being able to get the ball away. sometimes rushed. Not all of his throws are right on, but for example, the touchdown run was something that we would have seen from him 5, 6, 7 years ago, and we didn't see a lot of it in the last few years. So I think that's a good indication that these guys are looking to win. So I think it means good things for next week. Hopefully, and keep it going. And I know we're talking about the offense now, but for me, I think the thing I was most pleased with was the defense showing up today. So when we get to that, I can talk more about it. But
yeah, JMO says, "Let's go." A little word in the middle there, but we won't say that one. But anyway, that's right. Let's go, Packers. I did like it. I liked a lot from the. I mean, I was really impressed with the line and the way the backs ran, especially Williams and Jones. Dylan did okay. I mean, I think most of his productive runs were pretty easy reads and big holes and stuff. But Williams ran hard, ran through arm tackles. Jones made some unbelievable runs when there wasn't a heck of a lot there, and the line did great. I was pretty struck now because it wasn't just Aaron Donald. Now it was the whole Rams defensive line that I thought spent a lot of time getting blocked in this game, which was surprising to me. I thought they were penetrators. I thought they were disruptors, and I saw the Packers lock them down pretty good. So I like that, especially those interior guys. I haven't done an examination on the tackles, but those three interior guys, I feel really solid. And a lot of the Packers' productive runs come right up the gut. And that's why you got Lindsley and those two guards that are good at double teaming and then scraping off, creating diversions, getting on the second level. And Jones just needs a little crease, and he does something spectacular. So wide receivers do what they do. Some good tight end blocking today. Sadie's had some good blocks, Ben. So did Daphne. Tunyon was probably the worst blocker in this game of the tight ends, but he did some other really good stuff. So all in all,
he held one time.
Very good. Phantom holding call on Rick Wagner, though. Come on, what was that? What was
That
that?
was bull crap.
That was nonsense. But
He had MBS played really well too.
he did some different things too. It wasn't just running flies. He was like running in cutters. He's catching the ball. There's some yak. Like this is a whole new MVS here today.
I was happy with what we saw out of the offense. I think play calling and adjustments. They're showing some ability to adjust, a little more dynamic than we've seen certainly early in the season. So yeah, overall, I thought it was a pretty solid performance.
All right, Ben, get into it. Tell us what you were impressed with.
My throat cheese.
Gross.
Just kidding. Sorry, I have to go on my phone, and my daughter is doing something with the computer. She's on a conference call or something for school. I don't know what it is on a Saturday. I don't know why. Or maybe it's with your kid. Maybe she's doing something with your kid. She's been playing games.
Okay.
Evan.
I was going to say
computer game with Evan in the middle of a Packer game because they don't care about the sports. We talked about that last night.
Yep.
They don't care.
Yep. That's true.
But I was just going to say, last night I said something that came true in the game. I said, hey, when the Rams have the ball and Jared Goff's at the line of scrimmage, he might have two plays in the huddle, and he could maybe change the play, but he can't change individual routes to take advantage of the defense that he sees. But Aaron Rodgers, I think at least twice, if not three times, changed individual routes to take advantage of what he saw the Rams defense doing. One of them was Devontae Adams' first touchdown, where he saw they were in man. Jalen Ramsey had to go all the way across the field this way, and then all the way back this way. That was Aaron Rodgers saw that crap and changed the play. Also, I think that Lazard's touchdown, the big deep touchdown there, I think he saw something there too, where I don't think Lazard was supposed to be doing a fly pattern. And he was just like, yeah, something's happening here, dude. We're going for it. And he totally did something. I don't know what it is or what it means or this or whatever. They figure out what they know what it is. Let's go deep, and I'm going to throw it to you. And it was an awesome touchdown. So that just proves what I was talking last night, where Rodgers doesn't change the plays, but he reads the defense. He can see what they're doing wrong, and then he can change individual routes to take advantage of what the defense is doing. So even though Rodgers missed a couple throws here and there, he overthrew a guy, he underthrew a guy, his mind was right. And that was the difference. He was able to see things and take advantage of those things, even though maybe his passing game was a little off here or there. But is a guy I give so much crap all the time. Jamal Williams, man, that guy was busting through tiny holes, arm tackles from defensive linemen, just going right through the defensive lineman arm tackle and getting 3-4 yards when you need 3 or 4 yards. There are a bunch of times on 3rd and short, keep drives going, and they gave it to him, and he got the first down, and he did a great job. And I thought he had a perfect game for what he was asked to do. He did just about everything he needed to do. And also my guy, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones did not have any holes hardly at all in this game. There were times he's spinning off a dude and spinning off another dude and spinning off another dude and smacking through a guy and jumping over a dude. And then of course, you know what happens every game just about, he's got one breakout huge run, because on that play, awesome play by Corey Lindsey, gets the initial block, moves up to the second level, takes care of the middle of the field, and that's just enough blocks for Aaron Jones to take off and go over 60 freaking yards. So the interior of the offensive line, I don't know what you guys all talked about before this, but super pumped. Those guys kicked butt. I mean, Aaron Donald was so frustrated. He was getting penalties called on him because he couldn't handle it. I mean, because Jake taking care of him. Lukey Patrick taking care of the guys. Lindsey getting all wacky in my video, but I think you know what I'm saying. And the running backs, except for, Dylan had the fumble. So now I'm like, okay, you know what? It's playoff time. Let's get Jamal Williams in there and Aaron Jones. All right. If Dylan's going to fumble, we can't have any of that crap. So the steadiness of Jamal Williams is good. And the home run hitting and the spin moves and the juke moves of Aaron Jones, that's awesome. And it was a full effort on the offense as far as all those guys go. So even though the passing game was a little off here or there, they were still able to take advantage of things. And the other thing too is I wish I could watch the game with somebody, because right after they got the first down and I was at the end of the game there and I was thinking to myself, I was like, we got to do on that Lazard touchdown. I was like, man, this is the time. We got to do a play action. We haven't done play action all game. Let's do a play action deep bomb to like Tunyon or something. And then end up being a play action deep bomb to Lazard. I was like, oh, I was just going nuts. It was awesome. Of course, there's nobody around me there. I'm saying it, but
you thought he might fall down,
but it
right?
didn't really do
You
me
thought he might lose his footing on that and fall down?
Of course I did. I thought, especially when he had to reach way out like that and catch it, I thought he'd catch it and then like fall to the ground.
Yeah, two
But he
steps
stayed
and
up and
tumble.
took it all the way to the house. I was like, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
that's usually what he does.
I know.
But
For
it was
some
awesome.
reason,
Awesome.
he can do all- he can
Offense,
do-
awesome. With a little bit off here and there, but
it's so hilarious with Lazard. He can
the
do
number
all
one
this
defense,
stuff,
right? You got to
Yeah.
think that, guys.
Yeah. Jamal Williams, just look at this though. Jamal Williams, 65 yards, 5.4 per carry. Dylan had 6 carries, 27 yards, 4.5 per carry. And Aaron Jones, of course, with the big one, 14 for 99 with 7.1 yards per carry. Aaron Rodgers now had 4 rushes for -3 yards. However, he advanced that fumble, which was critical to give them a 3rd and short. And he had that amazing touchdown run. So, you know what? I don't care. They had -3 yards rushing. And this whole thing is really weird with the receivers too. If you look at this, it's just completely flipped. MVS, who has like the highest per catch average in the league, I think, right? MVS had 8.2 yards per reception today. 4 catches for 33 yards for MVS, who became a possession receiver today. Lazard had 4 for 96 for a 24-yard average. Adams had 9 catches for only 66 yards, 7.3. But he had a touchdown and he was productive and he beat Ramsey a number of times off the line. And Tunyon had he was a factor in the game. 4 catches, 60 yards for 15-yard average. So, all that stuff was good. The Packers got pressure in this game on the defensive side. Rodgers was good, and I like a lot of the stuff he did, especially making decisions at the line. But he threw the ball well, had a couple of drops in there. He had a couple of errant throws. But overall, 23 of 36, 296 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus a touchdown run, no turnovers. You take that any.
I'll say, hey, one more thing about MVS.
Yeah.
At the end of the first half, when Rodgers almost threw a pick twice there, 2 plays in a row. That second one, after the ball is broken up, the defensive player is complaining to the referee saying he got his arm held by MVS. So MVS may have saved that interception right there and also saved 3 points for the Pack. So that's, which, they won by more than 3 points. It doesn't matter. But MVS is, out of all the receivers today, I think he had the most solid game out of all the guys, because he didn't have a drop this game. He had really key 3rd down catches. The 3rd down after the fumble when it was 3rd and 3, I thought for sure he was like, oh, he's not going to get this. He's got to get through two guys. Somehow he slithered his way around and reached out just enough to get the first down. So he came up big in this game in key moments. Lazard had the big key moments. Devontae, of course, always has big key moments. Tunyon, everybody that are your four main receiving threats all did something that was awesome to go along with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. I mean, it's just defenses. Even when you're the number one defense in the league, you can't stop six different guys doing things. It's like you can't stop everybody. You know what I mean? And that's why, it was awesome. It was cool. I'm super pumped about that. And the defense too. I don't know what you guys talked about the defense. You're not yet, but
we'll get into it in a second. I want to get
into some of that if you haven't already.
Some chat catch up here real quick, just to run through.
Sounds good. Do some chats.
Mom says mom's in here. She's not swearing, but she said that she was excited to see Aaron Donald get mad and Jenkins frustrate him to the point where he gets a penalty and all that stuff. And the other part about that is Jenkins stayed cool. Like, he didn't push back. He didn't do anything back. So it was all Donald. Like, he just held him and grabbed him and was like, hey, man, chill out. And he grabbed him, yanked his face mask down. So that clearly a penalty on Donald, not on him. Also, John loves it. Thought it was a great game. Jenkins was great. Those three interior guys, like I said, really, really good. We'll look at the tackles. I think the tackles did pretty good though too. Better than I thought that they would, for sure. Dad was predicting that in the second quarter that Jones was going to break one, but you can predict that most games, and usually it happens, Dad. So it's not that big of a prediction. But you got it right today. We'll give it to you. And John thinks Jair is better than Jalen Ramsey, and John says the fact that Love gets to learn from Rodgers is really good. Of course, hopefully he can learn and whatever, and then become a good trade bait a couple years down the road. Because I'd love to see Rodgers play in this offense another, 5 years and see what happens. That'd be pretty sweet. And then Williams had a great game.
I'd love to see Aaron Jones in this offense another 5 years.
Well, yeah. How about Jamal Williams too? Sign them both back. We could do it.
You know the positive here? Yeah. There was some missed opportunities, and the thing is we scored 32 against the number one defense in the league, and we could have hung 40 to 47 on them. That's the unbelievable thing of it. You have not an overthrow, and you have a catch. That could have been 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. So.
Or the great plays by the defense that I guess get the Packers ready to play against Brady next week with the stripes helping them out. I don't know. I hate to sound like Mo complaining about the officiating, but several of those near misses on deep plays. If you're climbing on top of the guy before the ball gets there, I think most of the time you're going to get flagged for it. So, there were a few plays there that would have kept drives alive if those had been completed. So
that one third down play, like you text me about, the defender grabbed MVS's jersey pretty much right at the start of the play.
Yeah.
And then held it the entire time, which is probably the only reason MVS couldn't run away from him. And he held on to it the entire time until he let go to jump up and try to make a play on the ball. I was like, how is that not defensive holding? He literally had a fistful of jersey the entire time and no call, but whatever. So
I was frustrated by that until I realized that, from Moose's perspective, he's used to Dion's great defensive plays that were often similar. So you got to realize where he's coming from. So, if nothing else, it is, the Packers kept their cool, they kept their composure, played through it, and it might be good practice for next week if they have to face Brady and his allies in black and white.
Right. Run defense was okay. They gave up some yards, gave up some runs. There was some misreads. The defensive line did okay, but the pass rush was a factor today. And that's what I said right away. I'm like, they better rush the passer like this next week. I want to see pressure like this next week against one of those 2 old bums coming into Green Bay. And you make those guys uncomfortable. It's an easy game then for the Packers to win.
The Rams came out throwing more, and Goff looked a lot better throwing the ball than I expected, which means I'd have to think that the Packers probably weren't expecting to be a pass-heavy offense coming at them. Maybe they were. But I thought it was a pretty good adjustment to respond to that. They did a pretty decent job in coverage. They weren't getting beat deep. And, again, by the time the Rams started to move the ball with the running game, you're chewing up some clock. So I felt like the defense did a pretty good job doing what they had to do, keep the Rams from just scoring on big plays. And I guess I was impressed at how the secondary stood up and the pass rush, which overall has been good. Of course, you got the three guys that they have coming off the edge. They should be able to get some pressure. But yeah, I was pleased by the defense. I feel like that really was probably a bigger difference in this game than the offensive side. I mean, I expected the offense to play well, but the defense did better than I was expecting to see from them.
Goff was very efficient, especially through the first 2.5 quarters. He still ended up with good stats, but not a lot of yardage. That was the big thing. They didn't give up any big plays over the top, so that was important. They gave a couple of bigger plays in the middle towards the end of the first half, but he's 21 out of 27, 174 yards and a touchdown. Cam Akers had 5 yards of carry, so I mean the Bucks. If it ends up being the Bucks, which I still think it will be, they're probably they like to run it. They like to hammer it for a while, and they like to Fournette's still physical and can cause you problems. And I don't remember, is Jones out for a while, or was he possibly back today or tomorrow or whatever it is? I didn't check on the Bucks to see their injury report. But regardless of whoever is the running back, they have shown commitment to running and that they will run the ball. So again, it's still going to start there for this defense even next week. Bruce, any other thoughts about what you saw defensively that you liked?
I think Z Smith actually played fairly well tonight, a little better than he normally does. I think he stayed home and set a better edge than he normally has that I've seen from him. I liked Preston Smith and what he did. I know he didn't do a whole lot, but he got his hands up a couple of times and knocked some balls down. And I think that's something that he needs to do more of, because it just seems like he's not getting pressure on the quarterback this year as much. But if he can do that, because, what is he, 6'7", 6'6", something like that. So he gets those big paws up there, and that's a good thing. I thought Kenny Clark came on in the second half and had a pretty good – I mean, he had a sack and a half, I think, this game.
2.5, I think, is what they credited him with.
Oh, they 2.5? Oh, okay. Yeah, so he had a solid game as well. Other than that, I mean, I just think the back end played fairly efficient. They didn't give up any big plays. Obviously, I think that's what they were kind of looking to do. And I think, as Eric had said, I don't know if they were expecting Goff to be able to throw the ball that well. So I think maybe they're a little surprised on that side of thing. But overall, I think the defense did as well as they could have. I would have liked to see some turnovers, but unfortunately, they just didn't have that opportunity. So.
Yeah, I mean, they got some 3-and-outs. They forced a number of punts. They got some, second half by Gary, second half by Clark, one by Za'Darius. And interestingly, Chandon Sullivan, well, Barnes had 10 tackles. Chandon Sullivan had 8 tackles. And as many broadcasters call him for at least half the game, Kenny King had 8 tackles as well. Kevin King, but apparently a bunch of broadcasters always call him Kenny King a bunch of times. So, that was the thing. Jair wasn't targeted a lot, but I mean, a couple times he made plays, came and made the play on the quick screen, shut that down right away, which he's probably, the best at attacking those plays in a smart way. Like, he comes in and attacks, but he attacks the guy's legs, which is what you need to do. And he does a great job of that stuff. So, with all those guys, I do still think I'd like to see a little less Will Redmond, and I'll take Black. I'll take Scott. I'll take anybody instead of that guy. But Will Redmond was on the field a bunch of plays, and he is not even in the in the lineup defensively for a statistic of any kind. So that'll tell you something.
Scott and Black, I like them. They hit hard too.
They're
aggressive. So I'm kind of wondering why they're not on the field more either, but I don't know.
And I do think it's time for Tavon Austin returning punts to no longer be the situation. That experiment should be done. We're not going to have a big time punt returner, so just have a guy back there that's going to be solid, catch the ball, and get possession for you. So Malik Taylor does a good job of that. He's sure-handed. He doesn't fumble. Just stick him in there. We're not going to have big punt returns anyway, right? So I mean, how do you misjudge a ball that bad that like, and then you're running back after it and you're really close to it when guys are no, if you do that, get away from the ball, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Those are
Just-
the kind of things you don't want to see happen in a playoff game, right? Stupid stuff like that can really turn the tide. So, no, just give me a guy that lets you possess the ball, get your awesome offense with the ball, wherever it is on the field. I don't care. Put the offense out there, let them do their thing.
Just going back to conversation about the secondary, especially, I thought the tackling was pretty good in this game, especially compared to some of the things we've seen in previous efforts. You know, it wasn't guys dragging 3 guys down the field with them or diving at ankles and completely missing. You know, they felt a pretty decent job of actually getting guys down. You know, even if first guy wasn't there, more guys were at least moving toward the ball. So I think that probably helped with the not allowing the big plays or the kind of fluke things that let them pick up big chunks of yardage. So I think that it's nice to know that they can actually tackle as they move forward in the playoffs.
I can't wait to see the film so that we can see what the secondary was doing on a lot of those sacks, because it didn't seem like they were getting pressure super fast. You know what I mean? They were just kind of collapsing the pocket around Goff, where like guys just kind of end up being. Next thing you know, he had to kind of get out, and one guy kind of get there, but he'd miss. But then the other guys would all be around there. So it'd be interesting to see. I can't wait to look at the all 22 and see what the secondary was doing to cover those guys and making Goff not want to throw the ball there. Because in the first half, that wasn't happening. You know, I mean, he was 9 out of 10 the first half, and he was doing really good the first start of the third quarter, where he's throwing the ball. The guy, they're all wide open all over the place. So something happened in the second half. I don't know what they did, what changed. And then, of course, the good thing is then they got those sacks and ended up being long downs and distances. So then the defensive line could even go, you know, or the pass rushers could even go even more heads up and run and go crazy and get them because it's 3rd and 16 and 3rd and 20 and whatever. So I thought that was really interesting to see the difference between the first half pass coverage and the second half pass coverage when the sacks all happened. And granted, also, you know, they were behind, so they had to pass more probably, or they thought they had to. So that's part of it as well. But there was a time going down by 7, and the defense, you know, got to stop them and let us get back, get a big lead again. So it's, I think you got to be pretty happy about that. They had some issues. Another, you know, like Jason said, 5 yards per carry, giving up. That's not good. And then when Jared Goff is like 9 out of 10 or whatever. I mean, Jared Goff 9 out. I mean, it was pretty scary. Like you're watching the game and you're like, good God. But luckily we got the offense that, you know, and the bottom line is the defense gave up less than 20 points. The offense scored more than 30 points. So you can't really complain too much. They keep doing that. Guess what? We were winning the damn Super Bowl. So that's pretty sweet. My internet connection is all stupid and wacky, so I'm sorry about that. But I just want to say, awesome. I'm super pumped. I'm ready. The only bad part is now I got to watch football all weekend now. God dang, I was hoping to do something else. Now I got to spend the weekend watching football. Got to get ready to freaking talk on football on Tuesday and Friday and get ready for another game. So that's always good.
Yep.
You know, I will say that I think the Rams did a good job of keeping Goff from making mistakes. I mean, he threw short, quick passes, and they did a good job of, you know, they tried to get him out of the pocket a little bit, and they didn't make him throw a lot of difficult throws, and I think that's what they were trying to do, because him throwing deep probably wasn't going to go very well since his thumb is a problem, and you know, and Goff is not wonderful anyway, but you know, in the cold and the thumb, I think they did a pretty decent job. It just, I think they were hoping their defense would hold down our offense more. And then that's kind of what their plan was, because they knew they weren't going to score, 30 points or anything like that, or not, most likely anyway. So, but I thought they did a pretty decent job with Goff tonight, considering.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams defense didn't get any turnovers. That was obviously a big part of the game for them last week.
Almost.
They almost had him, yes, but they didn't. But especially to open the game, those 2 passes that Goff had over the middle, they were certainly much better than I expected to see out of him, given what they were showing from his warm-ups, where he's
Right.
like throwing with like the GI Joe hand and catching like this, and wasn't moving his thumb at all before the game, and he comes out and he's got a pretty decent throwing motion. Actually, had some zip on the ball. So, yeah, I think you might be right, Bruce. It was, and maybe that's part of the coverage sack thing that you were asking about, Ben, too. Is if he wasn't comfortable throwing deep or just not trying to force a ball in somewhere, he might have been sitting off on something he might have thrown if his hand was healthy. But doesn't matter. It's the way it goes. So, good for the Pack, bad for the Rams. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So,
A couple of quick stats before we go. Give the final score one more time here. Total yards, Packers 484 to 244 for the Rams. 6.7 yards per play versus the Rams 4.9. And first downs, 28 first downs for the Packers, 17 for the Rams. Third down efficiency, the Rams were 2 out of 8 on third down. Packers were 8 out of 12 on third down. And time of possession, 36-12 for the Packers to 23-48. But 8 out of 12 on third down.
And a lot of those third downs was Jamal Williams.
Running. They did stuff pass game. A lot of those third downs, too, were really, the right adjustments, the right play. So I'm going to go ahead and give the play caller and the quarterback a lot of credit there because they made those plays work. And the guys made plays. And the line, when they needed to on third and longs, hey, they gave Rodgers enough time to do what he needed to do. So everybody in on that. Final score 32-18. Darn it, I was trying to go for my final score prediction and make it 38-23, but no. It was 32.
It's pretty close to somebody's 31-17.
Yeah, that's true. Is that you?
I think so.
Or pretty close to someone's 34-21.
Or pretty close to somebody's 31-20.
All right, fine. You guys are all closer than me. Congratulations. 32-18, the Packers win. They're in the NFC Championship, and they host it for the first time since 1997. The Packers will host the NFC Championship game. We'll catch you on Tuesday night. Ben's got some play breakdowns. We'll see what else happens. Who knows? Enjoy the rest of the weekend of football. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Bruce.
Yes.
Heather, normally known as Bruce. Eric's iPad, also known as Rick. Ben, Hafeman Row number 1, and I'm Jason Hafeman Row number